dive on it, and then maybe Rob will think of something in that time. But the first thing is that I very rarely see the media get it right. I think Equifax has a whole lot of issues wrapped up in how it handled the issue as opposed to what actually happened. And one of the worst things you can do is, if you weren't there, play that Monday morning armchair quarterback. I believe the truth comes out over time in these things. I think they probably sat on it far too long. I don't think they took it seriously high up in the organization. And I think by and large, I think one of the biggest issues that we have with Equifax is it's hard to see who the customer is and what the privileged information they contain is and how they respect it. There's a lot of privacy legislation coming out now. In Europe, we have GDPR about to come out that says that you don't have a right to this data. It's privileged data, and you need to treat it as such. And our own privacy legislations are evolving as well here in the United States. But I think the biggest thing was they took too long and they didn't treat it as a crisis seriously enough, soon enough. I think internal processes will come to light. Did they do the right things? It's hard to say from the outside.
I think my answer is what they did wrong is they didn't value the data sufficiently. If they had understood the societal cost, not the cost of the company, but the societal costs of losing that data, they never would have lost it, right?
But this is their whole business, though, right? I mean, how could they not know the value of it?
They knew the value of it to them. Look, the biggest risk in having the Equifax breach isn't that I might have my identity stolen immediately. It's the cost of data on everyone just went down. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the challenge I see here is they still have the data. We say it was stolen, but they still have it. They're still in operation. They're still, from a certain perspective, they are fully resilient to this cyber attack because they can keep doing what they're doing, right? The problem is, unlike in other areas, we didn't say to them, look, you're going to have to make every American whole for this, which would easily put them out of business, right? If they had understood that that was going to be the level of consequence, they would have made sure it never happened. And that's what we're missing.
And that would have required different legislation.
That would have required different legislation. The analogy I use is this is the way we treat oil spills. We say to an oil tanker coming into U.S. waters, if a drop of oil lands in the ocean, you're responsible for the full costs of cleanup and remediation, and you need to prove that you have those financial resources at your disposal. If we had that same kind of setup for a data leak, you guarantee that a company like Equifax would be saying, okay, we need an insurance policy that nobody would write because we don't have the ability to prove that we have security in place so that they're not going to have uncontained losses. That's what we need to address problems like Equifax. It's not actually the technical controls. Those will need to evolve over time.